Hey, what's up, guy? This is Malachi coming to you with Success is Life on this episode that's going to be epic. It's going to be awesome, and I appreciate you for tuning in. And so, bear with us.
Life is what you make it, only if you just believe.
Enough of the fluff.
Cracking the code for success. SuccessThisLife.com.
Mind, body, and spirit.
Prepare for greatness. Life Innovation with Malachi Gross.
Hey, it is awesome to be here once again, and I have something special for you. We like to get straight to it, go straight to the nuggets. And today I'm going to be interviewing a lady named Miss Jennifer Taylor, and she's written a book that I truly admire and I love because it talks about some of the things that I'm passionate about, and that is doing business and trying to figure out how to do what you love and trying to figure out and do something that really matters to you. And lately I've been into a lot of books that really pushes me and drives me, and so therefore that's what I want to bring to the airways. And so without further ado, I would like to go ahead and introduce Miss Jennifer, who is I believe truly amazing. How are you doing today, Miss Jennifer?
Oh, I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
Oh, I am doing wonderful, and it's even better to have you here at this moment. We had pre-recorded this show once before, and I hit a few buttons on this little software, and I'm an idiot, and it just was gone, and I felt completely crazy, but giving the fact that you are a wonderful and beautiful person, to give me the opportunity to say, it's okay, I will do it again.
That's awesome. Yeah, everything happens for a reason. So it's great. I'm great to be back.
That's awesome. So, Love Uncorporated, the business of doing what you love. So tell me about this book in terms of I'm into a book, and just to let you know, this one's probably going to be a little different. So I'm a little deeper into the book and a little deeper into you. But one of the things is I'm in a book by Elizabeth, and she's Gilbert, and she's talking about creativity. And she talks about creativity in a really unique way, and that is you come up with an idea, and that idea is just coming to spend some time with you. And this baby, I'm working with my wife on something, and I was like, when you have an idea, it's like a baby, and it comes and it grows up. And so tell us about this Love Incorporated. How did you come up with this idea of this book?
Well, I think it grew a lot out of my own background because I was working at a job that paid the bills, but really wasn't my true passion. And so I was feeling depressed at work every day. I felt like I was on a treadmill, really not going anywhere, even though I was paying the bills. And what happened was I just got to a state where I didn't care anymore, almost apathetic. And I started pursuing what I loved outside of work. I went to massage school, which I loved body work. And I found out later on that what I really loved about body work was the energy I could feel coming from people. And when I did all this body work, I got a download from spirit or God or source or whatever people call it, that energy healing was my life work. And it tripped me out. That tripped me out because I'm like, how can I make a living doing energy healing? That was 13 years ago when it really wasn't as on the forefront as it is now even. And even now it's like a fringe arena. So I didn't really know how to make, how can I do this? Although I love the idea. And once I accepted the fact that perhaps this could be my life path, the all that is spirit, God, or whatever you call it, started opening doors. So I had a little bit of faith. I followed some of the doors. Some of the doors were a little bit scary as I did stuff. I started to do crazy things like quit my well-paying, secure job. But it all ended up, and I talk about this in my book, my whole story about ended up running a spiritual healing, energy healing business called Quantum Touch. And I love it because I get to talk about energy healing. I have a whole group of people that are really into energy healing, and it's like my hobby, but as a business.
Wow.
And it's awesome.
It's beautiful. It's the thing that's really neat is something that is not uh, practical as had to turn off an echo. Something not as practical as you would say that's out there for a job, right? So you have a job and you work in a job, and then you have this idea that I want to do something that is not a job for most people, and this is really insane. Like, so somebody says, "Hey, I want to start a business." So I'm gonna go and I want to work for myself with this business. So I'm gonna go mow some lawns, which is beautiful. But when you start talking about seeking like that really deeper things or that deep thing that says, I have a calling to mow lawns. I have a craft. Like, I love to see the grass grow. Like, I love to see a yard beautiful. So stepping over and going into it, that is a whole nother idea. And then to say energy healing, and there's no um, looking at it as like, okay, how do I become a paid energy healer? Or how do I do this and make a living so that I can keep doing this? And so that leap of faith is amazing. What are some of the stages or things you would go through in terms of that ugly dog that comes along, fear? It comes along, and we keep it in the back seat because we don't have a choice. That keeps us from jumping off a bridge. But it's in the back seat. So what stages did you go through in terms of like, okay, I want to be an energy healer? When did it ever occur to you that you not wanted to do it, but when did it ever occur to you that it was like, okay, I'm doing it, and then now the first stage is it was this fighting me, it was that fighting me, or if you had any stages of that. Only reason why I say that is because I really want to give somebody, myself and millions of others, the hearing it from somebody that says, "Hey, this is what I went through."
I'm I feel that a lot of people are so depressed that a lot of people at their job are so depressed that their heart is completely shut down. I just talked to a woman a few days ago who said she had to close down her heart to do her job. She had to shut herself off. And I felt the same way, and I'm sure there's a lot of people out there who feel like if they can't be in a loving space for their job because it's too painful, either the policies of the company or what they're doing. In her case, I think it was workers' comp, which, let's say you work for the IRS or some kind of job that's just, it really is painful for you to be at. And I hit rock bottom. I hit that place where I'd rather die than do this job. I mean, honestly, I'm done. And I think when you get to that state where you give up and the alternative is I'm willing to do anything to find my true calling and find true fulfillment, that's where I went. I gave up.
Wow.
And I think in some respects it opened the door because in my mind, I had nothing to lose. I'm like, I'd rather be out of here anyways. So it was easy for me to follow the guidance of spirit, follow and take the leap of faith because I felt like the alternative was worse than death.
Mm.
That was me. That was the emotional depth I went through. I don't know if everyone feels that way, but that's where I went. And the next phase, I think if you get started doing what you love, and I have to speak one more thing about fulfillment. I think a lot of people are seeking fulfillment in things like beauty, wealth, food, fame. And as some famous people would say, wealth and fame don't actually lead to what we're really looking for, which is fulfillment. So what is fulfillment? I mean, why are we really here? And I think that when people get into their true calling, and your true calling is your greatest service, you finally start feeling fulfilled. And it doesn't matter really that you're wealthy or not, that you're beautiful or not, that you have fame or not, because your fulfillment is leading the way. You're fulfilled on a deeper level. That can't be done with food. I mean, a lot of times I think people use food to fill this gap. And they feel better for maybe 20 minutes or so, maybe an hour. You feel, okay, I'm full. I'm actually literally fulfilled for about 20 minutes. But it's fleeting. Let's say drugs are the same way, alcohol, all of that it's very fleeting. There's no deeper fulfillment. And I was seeking something deeper, and I was so disgruntled and depressed about my current life that I was willing to do anything. So that's where I went. The next phase was then you get into your true calling and you run into difficulties. And sometimes people say, they shake their fist at God and say, all right, I finally followed your word for me. I'm following your truth, and you sent me through hell. Thank you very much, God. I'm going to go get another real job. I mean, seriously, I had that thought. I'm like, look,
Yes,
I'm
yes.
doing this for my service. And so that anger at God comes up. Maybe you're trying to serve your purpose and do your true calling, and a trauma strikes you. Trauma hits you, and you shake your fist. I went through that, and I know this line probably annoys people what I'm going to say next, but it's really God may introduce these traumas and dramas into your life as a way to enhance your growth. And it's really annoying to hear that when you're going through the pain and the trauma or whatever it is. But when you get to the other side, you say, wow, that actually got me to a better place. So the anger at God was my next phase, because it wasn't easy. Financial difficulties. I had some other pretty intense, I was a victim of a crime. It was pretty intense. But I look back and I think, okay, it really broke open my heart, because to really do your true purpose and your true fulfillment, your heart needs to be fully open. And any areas or places that you have, let's say, unprocessed anger or unprocessed stuff is going to get broken open to the surface. And sometimes I think the only way that can happen is, unfortunately, through adversity. So that was my next phase. Finally, I think I surrendered to the flow, which if your heart gets broken open enough, you get to that space of surrender, saying, all right, I really, really want to keep my heart open and surrender to the flow and allow the Spirit to work through me completely in my life, in my service. And the next phase of surrender I went through is, all right, I'm really willing to follow guidance. I totally, this anger phase at God is over. And once you really get fully aligned to following guidance, even after you follow your heart and do your true calling, things start to flow a lot better. That's what I've noticed. And I'm in that phase right now of surrender to guidance completely.
Surrender, yeah. Well, one of the things that you just had mentioned, I had fulfillment hit me. The word fulfillment hit me, because I deal a lot with success, and success this life is really taking the term that people have deemed what success means and really digging and it's crazy if you look at the definition in the dictionary, what it says success means. And so if a person would just rethink success and what that truly means, and most people want to gauge it, like it means this, it means that, and really I think the overall truth of success is in a person's life is fulfillment, right? There's some form of fulfillment, and if a person needs certain things, they will try to be fulfilled with the things that, what would I say, they can want whenever they don't have. Once they get it, they end up unfulfilled. It's like, I just heard a story about a Corvette and a doctor, getting to a point where he was able to buy his red Corvette in the 60s, 70s. And once he purchased it, it's like within 1 week he has it for sale. Because he achieved it and he got it, and it was like not what he really thought it would be. And a lot of times in this life, we are pushed to success in the financial terms and not necessarily in fulfillment terms, and being able to feel or be complete. And so you mentioned the word fulfillment, and the other thing that you talked about is the goal was to be fulfilled, and that is to do what you are feeling in your heart and you hear the call. But the other thing is there's going to be pain, is what I hear. It's like you're going to go through something and you're saying, hey, don't worry about that. just know that that pain is just lifting weights. That pain is just that it's helping shape you and make you. And then the other thing, as you mentioned, was acceptance and surrender. And that is one of the big things that I'm learning myself personally is accepting and surrendering and understanding that the more you push, especially when you're trying to be a business, you go do business for yourself and you're thinking about all the different avenues of business that you have to do, marketing and sales and so on and so forth. It's like you can still lose sight of the fact that this is a call, and there's going to be a time that I surrender to the results. That's what I would say. It's like this podcast, for instance, is surrendering to, I've done so much calculating and so much trying to figure this out and that out, and I've got all these different things, and it sometimes can get frustrating. But at the same time, it's like surrendering to the fact that there's so many people like yourself that have an amazing word that can inspire and uplift and take people to the next level in life. And giving them people hope in terms of no matter what stage you are, what are some of the exercises and things that a person can do? Like, because most of the people, whether you are, whatever stage you're in, I would say that I'm speaking to this moment that the people that are at a stage of life that they're ready for change, right? That's one of the big things that I see in your book is doing what you love. Most people don't even know what love is, let alone know what they love is, because we've been tainted. And one is the question I have, I'm going to go back to this other question I have, but speaking to those people that are right now in the trenches and saying, I want to do what I love. Is there some things that you can, because you said start. This is very elementary and basic, right? What are some of the things people can do to start? Like, little things that people can do to start. Let them know how easy it is.
Let me speak to the type of person that feels like they have to shut their heart down to go to their job.
Yes.
As for me, I was feeling that way. And I think the best place you can start if you can't do anything at your job is figure out something that you love, no matter how small. Maybe it's your garden, or maybe it's your pet, or if you don't have a pet, maybe you have a house plant. Figure out one thing in your life that you love and do that every day. Like maybe you love coloring, maybe you love playing with Play-Doh. I don't know what it is, but some people think, okay, I don't have much time, but even 10 minutes a day of looking or experiencing something that you really, really love. Because spirit doesn't need that much time to talk to you. If you are doing something that you absolutely love, your heart is open because you're feeling that love, even if it was shut down all day. So spend 10 minutes doing that with the idea of opening your heart to guidance, opening your heart to understanding why you're here. I think a lot of people don't even know that. So let's say I love, I got into gardening. When I was at a depressed phase in my life, I got into gardening. That was me. And I decided to take this dirt plot on my property that I'm renting, and the landlord loved this. I took it and made it into a beautiful garden, and I spent maybe 2 hours a day out there. So I spent a little longer, but I don't think you need that long. And, Spirit started really talking to me because I was out there, my heart was open, and I was just humming along, and I just received messages. So I think that's where you start. Spend 10 minutes a day with your heart open. Maybe it's playing with your kids. Whatever it is.
Did you write things down?
I didn't write things down, but I remembered, like when spirit really speaks to you, it imprints in your being, in your DNA. You just get it. From my perspective, you really get it. You resonate with it. Like you're already wired to do what you love. So it made sense. It makes sense. And it's very simple. It's not like this long, complicated, well, you need to create this sales funnel and you need to, do these 50 million steps to promote. Spirit doesn't speak that way. It's very simple. With the energy healing, it was energy healing is your life path. I mean, very simplistic, almost. I guess there's that quote in the Bible that says you have the eyes of a child
Mm-hmm.
to get to the space in heaven, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very simplistic, like a child would understand it, because the heart is simple. It's deep yet simple. So if we're getting too complicated, I think it's the mind interfering.
Mm, very true. The kind of hit my mic a little bit. One of the things that I see in your book that gets real in depth. This is Love Incorporated: The Business of Doing What You Love with Jennifer Taylor. Just to let everyone that know who they are listening to, so be sure to definitely go look her up. But some of the things she's been, she talks about being depressed or depressant. She talks about and reflects on all sorts of different things that a person can go through. She's been through, and which has led her not only just to doing something that she loves, but what she loves is helping you get through and helping pull things out of an individual that I believe lay in there inside them, but yet though they may need some healing, right? And most people don't understand the healing of the mind and the heart, and just everything from dealing with or having affirmations, or just having an actual coach, right? And a person actually coaching you and getting you on the right path. So for the next few minutes, I would like for you to talk a little bit about what energy healing is, or anything to do with the process thereof within energy healing.
Energy healing is basically our essence. At our essence level, we're love. And so the premise behind energy healing is that when we connect to love, disease falls away. It's very simplistic. So basically, love is the ultimate healer. And we teach people ways to connect more fully to their heart, and then you can help facilitate healing for others. So I'll give you a more concrete example. I was at dinner with a bunch of friends recently, and this lady who's sitting across from me had this toothache. She had just gotten her wisdom teeth out, and she had been taking Advil, and just she's like, I don't want to take this Advil anymore. I've been in pain for a few weeks now, and I can't deal with this anymore. And I said, well, let me do some distant healing, because we were at a restaurant, so I didn't feel like I wanted to go up and start placing my hands on her face at the restaurant. And I said, I'll just send you some love from a distance over here from across the table. And so I opened my heart, and I sent her energy directly to that area, and it started to shift. I could feel it start to shift. She could feel it start to shift. And about 8 minutes into it, she said, the pain's gone. And then after eating, so after dinner, she's like, the pain's still gone. I checked with her the next day, and she's like, the pain is still gone. So it actually permanently fixed her pain, which was awesome. And I think that we've been taught in our society that although I'm not allowed to say we cure anything, we've been taught that you need something outside of yourself to heal disease. But basically, again, I feel like it all boils down to, where are we not loving ourselves? Where's that anger and hate in our heart that's creating the disease? And it's hard to sometimes see your own stuff, so having somebody work on you, they can send love to every area of your heart, every area of your body, and it dissolves that pain and anger and hurt, and the disease goes away with it.
Is this spoken, or would this be unspoken?
You mean the energy?
Yeah, I mean, just because affirmations and words are powerful, right? Some people pray, some people meditate, and so on and so forth. But, with that said, just because certain words you can say, I can speak to people with certain words, affirmations, and it begins to permeate their life, and they have abundance amount of energy, and they feel revived and so on and so forth, or they feel they can take on something. And so within that healing, that with what you do, I was just curious if you've seen probably more than one form, or is it typically just right there in front of you? Can you do it over the phone?
You can do it over, well, I think it's whether you speak something or whether you just put your hands out and send love.
Yes.
Whatever you do, it's the energy. It's a
Okay.
way to get to the love. I'm generally not a speaker. I just like to send people love through my
Yes.
hands. But there's a lot of modalities out there that use different
Yeah.
types of speech or different stuff. It all works, I think. It's how can we help people open their heart? I think that's the real,
Beautiful.
the bottom line. But so there's different ways.
Yes, I believe so. I
Yeah.
asked that because I was just like, I wonder if she can send some energy, healing, and love, not only to me, but to anyone that's actually listening. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, you can send energy right now.
Yes.
Send energy right now.
I hope that anyone that is listening is receiving it, and I believe that they are, because otherwise they wouldn't be listening to it. One of the things that I will point out is that, making this really interesting, is that you come from a background of, I would say, corporate America, and you are a computer programmer, or engineer, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that's really neat because there's so many people out there that are in those worlds, right? Completely off world. And all of a sudden you just step over. It's that lawyer that says, you know what, I want to do this and I want to do that. And I truly believe personally that everyone is created by a creator, right? To be a creator, right? Everyone's created by a creator to be a creator. The only thing that is left on the face of this earth is things that are created, right? That you really get to see. And until it's created, until you get the book, until you get the building, until you get someone had a thought and said, hey, I'm here, I'm human. And one way that we can tell about this recycling earth of human beings is that someone left something, right? They created something, and they tapped into that creativity of ideas that floats throughout the entire universe. And if you are bold enough, you'll reach out, and not only will you grab it, but you will accept it, and you will output that particular baby. And one of the biggest things I've been telling people with ideas is make sure that every idea that you have, if it becomes a baby, then what happens is you have to nurture it, you have to grow it, you have to stick with it, and it doesn't go away. And if you allow it to go away, then there's no more, but at the same time you have to focus on it. But you as a computer or software engineer, coming from such a place, I believe it's noble, and I appreciate and honor that you come back on the show and that you helping the world and helping people draw closer to finding their authentic self and their passions and being able to be one that is fulfilled, happy, and actually begin to do something. So any last words? I usually keep this to 30 minutes so people can take a listen, get lifted, and move on. So you have anything else that you would like to add?
I'd just like to add that I feel that this is also a way to create a more loving world. Because when everyone starts to step into their truth and they're opening their heart, it's very hard to get into that space where you want to harm another person or another being. When your heart's fully open, you can feel the pain of others too. So wanting to inflict pain on another person goes away. And so I feel as more and more people step into their heart, we'll have a more loving world, and that's ultimately my larger vision.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you, Jennifer, for joining us, and it's awesome, and hopefully we'll reconnect again. I thank you for coming back on the show, even though I had a mistake. And but this is rejuvenating and bringing something back in me, and I appreciate you for that. And so may you have a great, wonderful day. She's from Hawaii, folks, and so her time is lots different than ours, but she gets to see some of that beautiful sun and the beautiful ocean. So
Great.
thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you so much for having me on the show. You're awesome.
And again,
And
guys, this is Jennifer Noel Taylor, Love Incorporated, the business of doing what you love, and she is out there, and we're going to post all the show notes, and we're going to let you make sure that you connect with her as much as you can, and you have a wonderful and blessed day.